I sent on the record. I was like, I wrote a song. It's called Gaga. You know, like I'm gonna send it to you. You know, if you feel so inclined,
share.
Maybe send it to Gaga. And he did, and it was very cool. Just to see like her response. I got to speak to her on the phone.
What was her response?
Her response was,
woo! All right, everybody, this is my wand here at Dash Radio on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Speaking of Hollywood, speaking of fame, just speaking of talent, music all around, today I'm with an incredibly talented artist, like not just singer, songwriter. You encompass every part of being an artist. Grace Gøstad, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you? I'm stoked to be here.
We are stoked to have you. Did I say the name right?
Yes.
Gøstad.
Yup, you got it.
Thank goodness, because it's not easy in our industry with different names and how names are pronounced. How often do you have that butchered?
I would say 9 times out of 10.
9 times out of 10 is butchered?
Yup. I don't even want to like say all the different variations I get just so they're not out there in the world.
Okay, yeah, we're not going to put them out there. Grace Gaustad. This is a very, it's very unique for me to be able to talk to a pop artist. Most of what we get submitted is like hip hop, because that's just what Los Angeles, you know, that's what everyone local does. I get really excited when I get to talk to like a true artist. The last time I would say I was this excited was an artist named Jake with the upside down A. And I had the same feeling with Jake where it's like, oh, you are like a generational talent. I like generally mean that. When I went to Black Box and I listened to Black Box, I was like, this is really big. Yeah. That's like the best way to describe it. Your production, the songwriting, the execution, your voice. You already know what your voice can do, but everything is really big. And what I really appreciate as a observer or fan now is everything's so well thought out. Like, it took me a while to realize, you know, maybe I'm wrong, but like Black Box was, if I read correctly, like a reflection of 18 years of your life, which is kind of like a black box on an airplane, like records everything. Was that kind of the thought
that is the
process?
Metaphor. Yeah, that's the metaphor for the album. It's it kind of came to me in the middle of the night, but when I was thinking about what I wanted to do for my first project, conceptually, when I was sort of just figuring everything out, I came across an article that was speaking about, totally unrelated to anything I was doing, but it was speaking about a plane and like crashing, and I read about the black box and how it stores all this data, and it's 3 a.m. and I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm like scrolling. And I just sort of had this like aha moment. I'm like, okay, we as human beings all have this metaphorical like black box like within us. So when you open it up, it sort of has all of the data points as to like why you are who you are, like why you act the way you act. It's got all the information in there. So yeah, black box was like my like unveiling of.
It is so, it was well thought out to like the track list, if I'm correct, went through your life almost like chronologically.
Yes,
so
it did.
I gotta ask, because as a creative, I know a lot of artists will, for example, make 100 songs and then say, okay, I'm gonna pick 12 songs and then put the album concept together. But it seems like you start with the album concept. Did you start with Black Box and then you said, okay, I'm gonna write music that fits in here?
You know, I had written quite a bit of music for Black Box before coming up with it conceptually. The first song I wrote for the album was called Jupiter, which is the last track on the album. So I kind of worked backwards.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I would say maybe I had 4 or 5 songs written. Then I came up with it conceptually, and then I sort of filled in, you know, all of the pieces that were still missing. But with my second album, PILLBX, that was totally conceptualized. Like everything was very well thought out, planned in advance, and I wrote music to cater to.
Listen, I was mind blown. So I started with PILLBX. The way I got introduced to Grace is somebody reached out, said, "Would you want to interview Grace?" And I was like, "Let me get." Luckily, I started with your YouTube. I went to YouTube, and I was so mind blown by the 4 videos you've done for PILLBX. If I'm correct, it started with Gaga. Or was that the first one? And the last one's Only Way?
Old Ways.
Old Ways.
Yep, close.
It was so well thought out. Like, the first thing that went through my head was like, this is like a legacy artist who's been in the industry for 12, 15 years. So then this is what I thought, because I'm looking at the production value, how well thought out from you getting up, going to the liquor store, telling the cashier you want to be Gaga. So well thought out, the whole idea of the pill, and then every video was so well just executed and thought out. Then when I read your bio, excuse my language, I'm like, this motherfucker is not 20. I said, no, excuse my language again, no fucking way. I have to applaud you. At your young age, you are decades ahead of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I always say I'm 20, but like my brain is actually like 40, 50, 60. My mom always tells a story about how like when I was born, she was like, I had a baby who I felt like was older than I, was. That's what she said.
Older than her.
Yeah. She's like, I'm 40 years old. I'm like holding a baby and I feel like the baby knows more than I do kind of thing. So I've always had that kind of old soul quality. I also started writing music and like working on music very, very young. So I was
like 2, 3, 4. Your mom had you.
Yeah, I was on her lap. I used to put my hands on her hands on the piano. That's kind of how I learned to play. So yeah, I was playing piano pretty often by like 5 years old.
Writing music too, from what I read. Like you were, who knows how good maybe it was like Goo Goo Gaga, but you were writing. There
were words. My mom used to call them 20-minute songs. Like I would just sit and I would just, all the words that I had in my vocabulary at the time, I would use all of them.
All of it.
And just, sing different melodies and things like that. And yeah, I don't know. It's just, as I got older, that songwriting and sort of storytelling that I love so much kind of just, they married into one another.
Absolutely. And it blossomed into more than just, songwriting as far as lyrics. Like these videos, I know Grace has, your thumb on the video, like your stamp.
Yeah.
There's no way
I'm very involved.
Yes. To me, the first thing I noticed was there's zero chance you just have a director and you're like, hey, write up a treatment. I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
You must
be
extremely involved it looks like you're involved from the wardrobe to the set design. Because I noticed something, I think I actually read it, I'm not going to lie, but I read that the Old Ways video had leftover set material from a Black Box video.
Yes, I took all of the old outfits that I wore in Black Box on the mannequins, because Old Ways is a song about like, my desire to like go back in time, revisit the past with a knowledge of the future. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, it was almost my like goodbye to older versions of myself that people had seen before. So, a lot of fans and people who'd seen Black Box picked up on the fact that those outfits, on those mannequins were all outfits from that sort of album.
Well thought out. Like I have to thank you for that, because a lot of creatives don't really love art as much as it seems.
Yeah.
So it shows in their music. They make very generic music videos, even generic music. Not with Grace. No, nothing generic.
Nothing is generic. No, that's true.
Extremely unique. Like even I was really just thoroughly impressed with how well it reminded me of like Marvel movies. Sorry, I'm like a Marvel movie nerd. But you know how everything is so thought out? Like they'll take something from the first movie and it'll relate to something 10 movies later. You're like really well thought out.
That's exactly how I am. Yeah, everything is connected. Nothing is random. I'm a big fan of sort of like the Easter egg and, letting people sort of search through the story, find all the little details and nuances. Because I think that for me, obviously, like I am primarily a singer and a songwriter, but I have so much fun with the entire creative process. So the visuals and, just the artistic approach and the storytelling of it all. Like I immerse myself in the entire experience. And there's nothing I loved more when I was younger than a music video that told a story, because I felt like I could get inside, like the artist's head. Like what were they thinking? What was the vision? What's the song really about? Because sometimes videos give you a totally different perspective or idea of what a song is about.
Absolutely.
So I think those visuals are super, super important.
When I went to your Instagram, because that's always like the lowest hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Oh, who's this artist? Let me go to their Instagram.
Yeah.
And I think it might have been a little clip I had seen of, maybe it was a Gaga video or the Old Ways, one of the videos from the Pillbox series. And I immediately was like, oh no, I need to go to the YouTube and really watch the music. Because back in the day, we used to actually discover music through the music video. It was almost like the first time you heard a song, it was on the video. I was playing with the video. Yeah. It's way different now. We normally hear the song and then you see the video weeks later. So I was glad, and I recommend anybody who hasn't jumped into PILLBX entirely, watch the videos first. Because like the whole Gaga song, I love it so much more having seen the video. Having seen you do the Gaga moves. Even the outfit. Like, even the outfit was very Gaga-esque.
It was modeled after the outfit that she wore, 2 outfits, I guess, that she wore. One was for her Las Vegas residency. She had sort of this bedazzled, like, sequined bodysuit on, and the other one was the Super Bowl look. Again, the mirrored glass. Yeah. So the outfit, it was really important to come close to, like, replicating and paying homage to one of Gaga's great looks. One of many. 5,000 to choose from, but exactly. I just thought that the Super Bowl outfit was one of my favorites. I thought it was very, very cool, and we had all the drag artists there who dressed up in a bunch of different looks that she's been in over the years that are very sort of recognizable pop culture moments.
You could see, even if I was to watch the video on mute and not have the Gaga title, I would know what's happening.
You would know exactly.
You know what I mean? Just from the mannerisms, the outfits. So I got to give you a gift, Grace. It's just kind of obvious what this gift's going to be. I do this thing where I give an artist an album from my CD collection, or I'll go to Amoeba and buy an album. So, I mean, I feel like you know what album you're going to get. I'm going to let you open it like it's a surprise. You know what I mean? Like, it's the lowest hanging fruit of what album to give you, from our good friends at Amoeba.
Oh yeah.
Had to give you the Lady Gaga, The Fame. I feel like this is an actual album that changed your life.
This is an album that changed my life and pop culture, I think, forever. I'm actually going to see Gaga's show tomorrow in LA. She's playing Dodger Stadium, and it's like, I don't know. It's crazy. She really is force of nature. I mean, this is my favorite. I mean, I don't want to say like this is my favorite Gaga record. This is the one though that I tell the story about being in the car with my dad. He's driving me home from a friend's house. I hear something on the radio and I hear mama mama, and I'm immediately like, what is that? You need to turn it up right now. Like, what is that? I listen to the whole song. I get home. I race to my mom's computer on YouTube and I'm like, please, like, let me log in, please. I gotta see something. And I stumble across Lady Gaga's YouTube channel. And at that time, she didn't have like a ton of videos, but the videos for like Just Dance and Poker Face were there. And I was just like
enamored, right?
Immediately.
Because I read that 2008 you said was the year where it kind of, you saw what you wanted to do for the rest of your life. And this album came out in 2008, so I was like, that is the one.
This is the album. I heard, just the radio in the car was always like a place for me to discover music as like a kid, because I didn't, I had like an iPod and things like that, but streaming, it's so easy to access music now. And when I was younger, it wasn't so straightforward. Yeah. So I think I found a lot of music that I ended up really liking just like in the car. And I just remember Gaga was constantly on the radio. My dad was constantly like, oh my God, we're listening to this again. You know what I mean? Because every time I hear it, turn it up, turn it up. You know what I mean?
Your dad probably lost his mind every time he heard Convict, Gaga. Yeah, he's probably like traumatized, literally like traumatizations.
Yeah, no, exactly. But he was a good sport, and he used to let me listen to a lot of really fun pop records.
Thank goodness he did. And you sonically, actually, a lot of your work sounds like what like early Gaga music, very pop, but it's like pop instrumentals, but the lyrics are so much deeper than what you would think when you really listen to them. Yeah. I want to say it was one of these Pillbox songs. I was listening to your lyrics and I was like, I got to go back to the bio. There's no way this is a 20-year-old human being. Impossible. Yeah. Like, it doesn't logically make sense. Like, you can't be born in the 2000s and have this much knowledge and just knowledge. Like, such a good self-understanding. Yeah. Were you always hanging around older crowds, older people?
Yes, I'm an only child, so naturally, I didn't have many young people around. I'm the youngest. of all my cousins, because my mom had me much later in life. I was kind of, a little unplanned. And, my parents didn't really intend on having kids. So all of a sudden I'm here, I'm around, and everyone was older than me. So yeah, I'm 6, 7, 8 years old. Everyone's in their 40s and their 50s. And so that was huge age gap. And even my cousins, I think the closest one in age is 3 or 4 years. And then, a lot of my cousins are married now and kids.
I just can't I feel like you were never a child in a weird way, because how are you this wise and just ahead of your years at 20? I can't imagine you at 13, 14.
Yeah, it was a little weird. I think that I always felt a lot older than my actual age. I'm not sure what that's about. It could be a factor of being an only child or just being surrounded by a lot of adults. I also think, though, sometimes people almost age rapidly when you sort of enter an industry as a child. And even though I wasn't pursuing music publicly and professionally, I was working on it hours and hours and hours a day, starting 7, 8, 9. My friends are out playing, doing whatever.
Age of 7, 8, 9.
Yeah. Wow. Age of 7, 8, 9. My friends are doing whatever. I'm inside, I'm playing guitar, I'm playing piano. I'm going to the studio with my mom. I'm, in dance lessons. I was really, really dedicated from a very early age. And it was finally when I was 16, I'm begging my parents. I'm please, guys, let me put music out. What are we doing?
I'm a caged bird. Let me fly.
Exactly. I was please, please, please. And they're okay, fine. Your 16th birthday, go ahead. You can post your stuff online.
And that's when you started posting on YouTube.
YouTube and Instagram.
And then in 1 year, if I'm correct, it was the Take Me to Church cover. That happened a year within you posting covers. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's so amazing.
Yeah, and I've told this story before, but the day I went in to film that video and sing that song, I had 102-degree fever.
Yep, you were sick.
Yeah, I was very sick, and my mom was we can cancel it. And I'm we're going, whatever. And I remember just saying, guys, I've got 1 or 2 takes maybe before I need to go home and get in bed. And sometimes your best work comes out
it's meant to be. I think let's say you had 101 fever, or you were at 92, it might have not sounded the same. Yeah, so I think that's part of the universe's plan was for you to feel that way that day. Yeah. Can I tell you my favorite cover of yours?
Absolutely.
The Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit. There's something about you breaking that down really slow, and even the way you omitted certain lines of the song, but then put more of a emphasis on other lines. I listened to it twice this morning. That's one of my go-to. Just let me get the adrenaline flowing. And the way you did it, it reminded me of almost like a Jordan Peele movie. It was very eerie, but it was so beautiful. Load up on guns, and I was oh, this is gonna be good. That's my favorite.
I love taking songs out of their sort of traditional, form. That's a hardcore, big guitars, big drums, big sounds. It's very, it's really it's tough, it's big, and taking it all the way stripped down to piano is so. I don't know. It changes the entire vibe, and I think it helps you to see songs totally differently. I've done some Gaga covers that I've just posted, sort of at random, but I've taken some of her big dance songs and turned them into ballads, and they sound like completely different records, equally as sort of enticing and as good, but just totally different.
Absolutely.
So it's really cool.
One of my favorite songs ever is Gary Jules' Mad World. Very, very.
Yep.
The original is Tears for Fears, and it's a complete different song. It's upbeat. It's way more pop. It's a guitar. Everyone Wants to Rule the World, Tears for Fears. That's their original song, Mad World, and it doesn't when I listen to the Gary Jules version, it literally, I get the chills.
Yeah.
You just think about different things you've gone through, so different than the original. So I think sometimes recreating art can give it a whole different meaning and purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. I think art comes in all shapes, all forms, all sizes. It doesn't really matter. And repurposing and sort of, I think for any individual artist, it's always really important to sort of, pay homage or tribute those who have come before you. And I think that, taking great records or great songs and sort of making them, your own or changing them is a great way to do that while still, keeping sort of, your own artistry.
Yeah, and
intact.
I gotta give you props. So the way you paid homage to Gaga, just in the name of the song to the video. But I gotta ask, I read that what do they call her? The something monster?
Mother Monster.
Mother Monster. I read that. Sorry, I wanted to make sure that was said right, because I don't want the
little monsters.
The
to
little
come after
monsters.
you.
Look, little monsters. I apologize for my negligence. The Mother Monster has already given you the stamp of approval, right? And is a fan.
That is true. Yes, we share a vocal coach named Dawn Lawrence, and that's kind of how we connected. I started with Dawn when I was 13 years old. Gaga did as well.
Gaga started with Dawn at 13 as well.
Yeah, and they've been working together ever since. Dawn is a really, really special coach. I mean, he's worked with like anybody who's anybody. John has had, his fingers somewhere there. He's very, very talented, and has the ability to sort of take, maybe just like a good singer and turn them into a phenomenal performer. And that
turn
really
them into
is
a Gaga,
Exactly, and I Gaga obviously is like so talented. But I think Dawn, for both of us, has played such an important role in our lives, and so.
And Dawn brought you together.
Yes, Dawn brought us together. I sent Dawn the record. I was like, I wrote a song. It's called Gaga. I'm gonna send it to you. If you feel so inclined,
share.
Maybe send it to Gaga. And he did, and it was very cool. Just to see like her response. I got to speak to her on the phone.
What was her response?
Her response was great. She was very encouraging. I think that it's always scary to like meet, or talk to your idols or anything like that. It's always like, oh no, like maybe I don't want to know. And she couldn't have been nicer, couldn't have been more supportive. Just genuinely a very, very kind person, and it's so nice to see someone that has accomplished so much in their life still be so grounded, so humble, and so willing to sort of support like the next generation of artists who are trying to
a little monster, like
exactly,
the Mother Monster.
Exactly.
So
it was a full circle moment.
Can you call Gaga? Can you text Gaga? Is that how close your relationship is, or?
I mean, yeah, we've had a couple exchanges of messages, but she's busy.
Of course,
she's very busy.
You're not gonna bug Gaga unless it's time. But if it is time, are you able to reach out?
Yeah, I mean, I would say so. I think that she was very kind and just offering sort of mentorship and guidance. She spoke a lot about her own journey coming up in this industry, and just. What it was like to not really have anyone to sort of put her in the right direction and things like that. And so, I think that she just feels for, young artists who are now trying to navigate the waters themselves. Yeah,
because she went through a lot.
Yeah, remembering all the stuff that, she went through.
Sign, drop, under Akon, and then it was like, wait, you're bigger than Akon, and then it was like, you're bigger than all of music, and so many different left and right turns for Gaga.
Yeah, she's been through a lot, but I think that's what makes her a phenomenal artist. So she's definitely been just, she's probably the reason I decided to pursue music professionally. I listened to a lot of pop music when I was younger, but Gaga was definitely
Gaga was the one. Yeah, I saw your inspirations were like Gaga, Taylor Swift, Katy Perry, kind of like almost like that era is like Mount Rushmore of pop. But what I think is so unique to me is Gaga has transformed a lot, but you have seemed to grab the torch from that prime Gaga that we remember, like the Fame Gaga and the few albums that came after that. Because Gaga is more, I guess, I don't know if the right word is normalized, but it's different now. When you see Gaga, you don't see as much just full meat suits and all that. But I feel like you've carried the torch from that time, and you're like, I'm gonna take it to the promised land.
Yeah, I think that I've always been so just intrigued by artistic expression in every single way. So whether that's clothes, nails, hair, makeup, music, videos, it really is limitless. I think, pushing yourself to an extreme for the purpose of art is something that's really important to me. I also think that maybe Gaga's not wearing meet dresses anymore, but I just went to go see her show in Vegas recently, the jazz show, and like the vocals. I mean,
she's an underrated vocalist, very underrated.
It's crazy. Yeah, most people don't know
because we always saw the outfits and stuff.
Exactly, you always see like the big dance records and the outfits, but like when you sit and you listen to that like jazz show, I'm sitting there as a classically trained singer, and I'm like, I can't do that. I can't do anything.
You are
even
well
close
on your
to
way,
that.
though. No, you are well on your way.
Oh no, I don't know about that. I mean, it's really special. She's got a very, very special voice, and I think now she's like in a place as an artist where she's showcasing everything. You know, it's like
acting, everything.
She's just,
And we could do literally like a 6-hour Gaga piece. Let's get back on Grace. Let's get, because you are also one of the more unique artists I've seen in our era. And I wouldn't be surprised if you tomorrow did like a reggae record or a straight R&B record. Or I feel like you can come from any side of the field and it wouldn't catch me off guard. But should we expect to see you dabbling in any with other sounds, other genres? Because so far I've heard Gaga and Taylor Swift is kind of like the two sides of you I've heard, I'd say.
I don't really believe in like genres.
Oh.
So, most people would describe my music as like pop alternative, and I would describe it as just music that I wrote sitting at a piano or a guitar. It doesn't really I don't think about anything genre-wise while I'm creating. So yeah, it's definitely fair to say that I would probably be an artist who would maybe dabble in a lot of different spaces simply because I don't really just believe in like any traditional sort of form.
Yeah, just create. Don't put me in a box.
Just create. Exactly.
I don't like Kanye when he's like, "Don't put me in a box," except you're not screaming as much.
Yeah, no, it's really I think it's dangerous when you put like boundaries around creativity and you limit yourself. It's not helping.
Absolutely.
You want to feel free to sort of create and express exactly.
Well, are there any songs that you've created that are in the chamber that might get shot out at us soon that are different that we might not expect to hear?
I would say that PILLBX is a pretty pop album. Track 13 is a pretty special one. That one is unlike anything I've done before.
I thought it was gonna be 12. No, it's gonna be. How many
13.
tracks do we got? 13. And do you have a video for every single one?
I do.
Every single track has a video.
Well, I guess there's 12 videos and there's the trailer. The difference between PILLBX and Black Box is PILLBX had a title track called PILLBX. Black Box never had that. I jumped right into the story with Black Box and just continued on. But PILLBX, I felt that it was very important, sort of first song on the album to introduce it, just thematically speaking. It was really important to me to have sort of, within a couple minutes, the whole entire thing explained. Like, what do you do when you can't change the unchangeable? You fantasize. Like, it's that simple. And, it goes on to go through all these different fantasies.
Well, I'm at the point now where I know when Grace drops something, it has been in the works for 6 to 8 months. I'm not even talking, the song was probably done years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for everything you have to drop. All 4 videos have been immaculate. So we have another 8 videos coming over the next year.
There's a lot, yeah. Old Ways just came out. That's track 5. So yeah, we gotta get to 13.
And are all the videos shot already?
They're all shot. We shot them.
How do you have the time to do all of this?
It was a very hectic 3 weeks.
That you shot all the videos in 3 weeks.
I think it was.
I'm gonna throw this chair through the window and just run home.
I think it was 15 or 16 days to be exact. Very long 12, 14-hour days, working in the middle of the night, working early in the morning. I mean, we had a crazy schedule. Black Box was the same way. Black Box was a little less intense. It wasn't as long. The videos weren't as elaborate. The story wasn't as big. But yeah, PILLBX was a ride to film.
wild. That is like Beyonce's status of content. Beyonce is one of the few artists I know that's come out and been like, oh, I have a video for everything I dropped.
Yeah.
With that one album she, so.
Yeah.
Mind blowing. What could you even do to get more? Like, you're gonna eventually perform on the moon or some shit. Like, you're gonna be the first person to perform on the moon or something.
I think that I really, I just want to create, surrounding sort of all the experiences that like I'll go through my life. And I think that as you get, older, your creativity changes and what you want to do, it changes. And so I'm really just interested in writing about all these chapters that'll, come up in my life. I think that, and just speaking with so many people who are, much older than me and just, they all wish they could go back to like their 20s or their 30s and relive some of those experiences. And so it's really important for me as an artist to want to capture this little time capsule so that one day when I'm a lot older, I have kids, whatever, I can sort of like look back and have this
black box of
have this big body of work that sort of tells my life story in a very artistic way,
with videos on every part of it.
And I think too, I always try to write from what I believe are like universal experiences. It's not just like all about me. I never want to write a song that's just for the sake of writing a song. I want to write a song that is gonna help someone, change someone's life.
You do that.
Speak
I've seen
to somebody.
The comments. You've helped a lot of people out of depression. I'm sure you've helped a lot of people just feel comfortable with who they truly are, and not worry about what others are gonna think, because they look at Grace and they're like, well, if Grace is comfortable, why can't I be? So I think you're gonna be a beacon for a lot of this generation and
I hope so.
Generations to come.
Yeah, I hope so. I think that young people. It's kind of a scary time to be young. I'm not gonna lie.
With social media and stuff.
Social media is scary. The world is kind of very chaotic. It's I don't know. It's just scary. And like I'm 20 years old and like I still will see stories or things. I'll call my mom. I'll call my dad. I'll be like, what's going on? Like, what does this even mean? Like, whatever. Because it's just I don't know. There's a lot out there that it's a lot of misinformation, and I think that. Yeah, it's a really scary time to be a young person. We live in a tricky world, and it's very hard to navigate. And so I think that like musicians and artists of any kind really are responsible for, keeping the youth sort of happy, engaged, hopeful.
On
I
the
think
right track.
you can find a lot of just hopefulness in art and a lot of validation for your feelings in art.
You're very vulnerable in your music. I was gonna tell you, one of the reasons I used to be an artist, I jumped out of it, was I realized that a fan's pleasure is an artist's pain. Like I was the biggest Eminem fan ever. Yeah. It took me until I was 18, 19 to realize, like, when he started sounding different, I'm like, oh, he's happy now. Yeah. I'm like, this is what the Eminem that I don't like is the happy guy who's not on Valium, who's not on Oxycontin every day, who doesn't hate his mother, who isn't screaming at his daughter on record. So I applaud you for going through all that pain and being able to paint these pictures for us to be able to enjoy and hopefully avoid some of that pain.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. As I always say, I never want there to be a kid who had to sort of grow up the way I did or go through like what I went through in school. I'm very thankful to be out of school. That was the best day of my life, graduating high school. But I just think that, the more vulnerable that you're willing to be, I think ultimately the more people that you're able to connect with. All the artists that I've loved throughout my life have all sort of shared that same theme of they're very real, they're very vulnerable, and they have a way of putting exactly what you're feeling into, 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and it's very special.
Yeah, and it's not going to resonate just now. It's going to resonate for decades to come, So I think you are a beacon of light, as I said, for this generation, just for everyone. Like, you let people just be themselves, and so I appreciate it. But on top of that, the music is immaculate,
Thank you.
You don't seem to take any shortcuts. So I got to ask, because one thing I think that's missing in music overall is I just think we need more lady producers, female producers, woman producers. Have you jumped into producing at all?
I do produce. I produce.
I don't know why I kept seeing singer-songwriter. I didn't see the comma producer. That is my fault.
You know, it might not be there. I think that when you write the way that I do, which is always starting on like a guitar or a piano or just any sort of like real instrument, you don't go directly to that computer. You're already in that production space. So by the time that I take, an idea to a studio, I work with a guy named Scott Effman, who's one of my dear friends. He produced, I think 12 out of 13 of the PILLBX tracks.
Scott Effman, you said?
Effman.
Scott Effman. Shout out to you.
Scott Effman is very, very talented. But we use so much essentially real music on the records that we do together. So Old Ways, that's real piano that I just sort of on a whim was okay, come on, Scott, let's turn on the mics. I gotta lay this down, and and I'm gonna put this synth over it, and I'm gonna put, let's add drums here and let's do this there. So I think that when you write your own music and you're really involved, you're already producing without realizing it.
You're most definitely producing on these tracks.
And then as I've gotten older, I've gotten into the more technical side of things, of actually being able to pull up a Logic or pull up Pro Tools and understand, what's going on and being able to communicate to the people I work with what I want to hear, where I want to hear the song go. It's producing is an art in and of itself, and it's one that I certainly have not maybe mastered in the same way that I have singing and songwriting.
But you will. I see it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, my goal for the next decade of my life, let's say by the time I'm 30, would be able to say, I can sing, I can produce, I can write, I can direct.
Literally, there's going to be a body of work from Grace Gøstad that's going to be written, produced, sung, vocally produced, mixed, mastered, video directed, wardrobe, all you. A to Z. You were the prince. You could be the prince of our time, where Prince didn't need any other creative. If you worked with Prince, you were lucky,
Yeah, I think that, but I don't want to, I don't want to take away from all the people who really have helped me sort of realize my vision. I worked with a very, very talented team on PILLBX. Van Alpert, who directed all the videos, who also did Black Box with me. I mean, he's phenomenal. Van is a pleasure to work with. Very, very talented, so creative too, although I do conceptualize most of the videos, and I sort of give Van a template. He really has a way of just adding that, kind of shine, that sparkle.
Yeah.
He's just very talented, and he knows exactly what he wants to see. I think being able to kind of capture a moment with a camera, it might seem easy. It's so hard.
Oh, most
it's
definitely.
So difficult to actually really capture something, in the same way you're seeing it while you're actually watching it. So yeah, Van's incredibly talented, and I also have an amazing team of just people I work with for hair and makeup and styling, and although I am very involved, they all bring a lot to the table. So.
I'm glad that you acknowledge that, because you seem like somebody. I think these people will always want to work with you and float around you. And your team's gonna get bigger. Your story's gonna get bigger. I can't imagine the music getting bigger, but I know it will. So what's around the corner? What can we expect next? I know Old Ways video's out.
Old Ways video's out. PILLBX is rolling out till next summer. So yeah, it's going to be a long rollout. Every song sort of has its moment to exist. Every video's got its own moment. Spoiler, moment is a song on the album. I just realized that as I was saying it, but
genius, even when you don't try. What's the next video?
The next video, it's for a song called Monster, and that is sort of the climax, if you will, of the whole project.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Monster is the video that's got kind of this, if you're following the storyline, that this bodega man and I are having, we've got an exchange going on. And with Monster, you finally sort of see maybe some malicious intent from this bodega man. Maybe he's not everyone's wildest dream.
I had a
fantasy.
feeling. I had a feeling he was like a drug dealer,
Exactly.
I had a feeling he was embodying something about humanity that necessarily wasn't good. I haven't got to it yet, but I think it's because I'm only like halfway in the movie that is Pillbox, so I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, that was, you know, it's funny you said that. That's exactly who that character is. He is supposed to embody all of the people who will sort of stand in your way, try to point you in the wrong direction. They want to see you fail. They don't want to see you succeed.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's just, you got to be really careful who you surround yourself with. And I think especially for young people, it's really easy to fall in with the wrong crowds, listen to the wrong people, you know, just, it can be as simple as like wrong place, wrong time. You know, you just got to be really careful. And I think, that Bodega Man character sort of reflects, humanity in a way.
He did a good job reflecting. Like the actor you got.
Yeah, Ryan, he's very, very talented. He was great to work with, and he played that character phenomenally well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I got another set of gifts we're gonna wrap this up with.
Oh my gosh, more gifts!
Yeah, Grace.
I gotta tell you, you're not giving me a gift better than this.
No.
This is my favorite gift.
Good to know, because these people tried really hard. This is a care package. My good friend Buzz, he brings all the talented artists. He doesn't say no, or he doesn't say yes to every artist. It's a handful. You'll say, oh yeah, we're gonna bring gifts. So when I submitted Grace, these are some of the gifts that we wanted to bring you. The bag is from our good friends at Plug and Play.
Oh, wow. Okay, for anyone who knows me, I never grew out of like eating like a 5-year-old. So anytime I see like any sort of like noodles or like mac and cheese or chicken finger, like anything like that, like I'm all about it immediately. My palate never advanced. Yes, this is like instant noodles, chicken
all
flavor.
This was well thought out by the universe.
It's perfect. It's perfect because, you know, this feels like a bag that you would give to like almost like a kid, and that's exactly, you know, like how I am, except for these that I'm holding right now. But as far as the noodles go and stuff like that, it's
look, the gifts are for you to.
Cool.
This is just a token of our appreciation for you coming here, spending your time here.
Super dope.
Shout out to all the brands. Shout out to my guy Buzz. Uptime is a great drink.
Wow.
Very clean energy drink. Very clean.
I'm like a packaging like freak, probably because just my, you know, my mom's background is sort of in like marketing. And
look at your music. So, everything's well packaged.
Everything's like, you know, very very well thought out, and I absolutely love like, I don't know, any sort of like black packaging with like bright, you know, colors on it. So yellow and black, I mean, that's great. That's very, very cool. Thank you for all the gifts.
Of
I
course.
Have, like,
this is all for you
with.
to keep. Thank you for the gifts, for Black Box, for Pillbox, even going back to Welcome to Jupiter, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, wow.
You had a project before that. I listened to everything, but I was really Pillbox when I was like, oh my God. And I really found it hard to believe your age. And now I almost wanted to ID you, but I'm like, it's a little bit absurd. It's hard to believe you're as young as you are, but as talented as you are, and this far in your career. So can't imagine what the rest of the journey is going to be.
Me either. I don't know either. But we're all going to be on the ride together.
Well, keep me in mind, because I'm ready to chop it up as your journey keeps going, as we get into next year and you've dropped the next 4 or 5 set of videos. I would love to do this whole thing again and reflect on what this past year has been.
Great. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Of course. I'm going to take one more shot at it. Grace Gøstad.
You got it.
No excuse,
right.
anybody. No excuse. It is said exactly how it's read.
There you go.
Thank you so much. Everybody, Pillbox is out now. Old Ways video out now. The Gaga video is out. There's 2 other ones, too.
Everybody's Friend, Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast is deep, too. That is a very deep, like, anyone who has not checked out, go to the YouTube first. That is my advice. Go to the YouTube, jump into the videos first, and then experience everything else.
Absolutely.
Grace Gaustad, thank you so much.
Again, 3rd time's the charm. You got it.
This is Maiwan here at Dash Radio. We did the first Billie Eilish interview, first Cardi B interview, first Post Malone interview. I know this isn't your first interview, but I hope this is the one that after this, just the whole world knows who the hell you are.
I hope so too. That would be really dope. That'd be cool.
In all seriousness, the founder of this company, DJ Ski, did Lady Gaga's first radio interview ever. She's been on air, said numerous times, DJ Ski's the first guy to give me a chance. So I was proud to do this. I was like a full circle. I interned for that guy for years, and I feel like some weird way you like interned for Gaga spiritually, you know? And now we're here.
Full circle.
Full circle.
Full circle moment.
Alrighty, Grace. Enjoy the show tomorrow.
Thank you.
I guess we'll end this with the rah, 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 rah.
Exactly. There you go.
We're out.